It's Saturday. You know what that means. Time for another episode of ABW Detonate right here on YouTube. I am the old school AB, and I am once again being joined by the Pontiff of Pain, the Baron of the Boiler Room Brawl, the kind man himself, Kind Man. What's up, dude?
Glad to be here.
I'm damn glad to have you.
Straight from the boiler room.
Straight from the boiler room. How is it in there? Is it a tepid 84 degrees?
Oh, you can see. Look at the picture. It's all
right?
Foggy and that steam and.
Man, I'll tell you. Well, welcome. We're gonna have ourselves a fun little show because we got a lot to talk about. You know, we don't do this every day, right? So we kind of go on a weekly schedule. And I know Survivor Series happened, but we got to talk about a couple of things that happened at Survivor Series before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's show. There was a big return, and I don't want to wait until the end of the show to talk about it, and I won't sugarcoat it. R-Truth is back in WWE after a lengthy absence, and I have to tell you, just me personally, I don't know how you feel about this, Kind Man. R-Truth is a genius. And he is a national treasure, and there isn't anything he can't do. He can rap, he can dance, he can wrestle, he can do comedy, he can do acting. I'm convinced at this stage he could build a nuclear reactor from a couple of bamboo shoots and a pack of rubber bands.
So you're saying R-Truth is a 5-tool wrestler?
He is. He's
got everything.
He's got it all. He's got it all. What an entertaining motherfucker. I love R-Truth so much. Every time he's on my show, every time he's on my TV, I have to laugh. I have to smile. He's the greatest.
Really?
I love R-Truth. I love R-Truth. I'm an R-Truth fan.
That is a take I did not expect from you.
Right, really?
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like your kind of guy.
No.
I mean, listen, you said, yeah, he can rap, but he can't rap well.
Well,
he does it.
He does it. That's better than I can do it.
Not better than I can do it. But then again, I've been known to drop a few rhymes.
Oh, we may have to put that to the test here later on in the show. One of these days we'll get you to do a rap battle. I got your back. I'll give you a beat. You know, I'm not sure I could do a good job at that.
That'll be the whitest beatbox of all time.
Oh no, man. Oh, my God. But no, I love R-Truth, and I could extol the virtues of that man all day long. I love R-Truth. I love him in the ring. I love him.
The national treasure.
He is. He should be.
I thought that like national treasure was usually reserved for like people like Dolly Parton and, you know, other celebs. But R-Truth now is in that category.
Yeah. Are you trying to say R-Truth is not in the same category as Dolly Parton?
I would say no.
Wow.
But
you're
it could
right.
Be a good bit.
You're right. He's higher than Dolly Parton. He's in a tier above Dolly Parton. That's where he exists.
Came out dressed as a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, like Dolly Parton did at halftime of the Thanksgiving game,
right?
Which was unbelievable.
I didn't see that. I didn't catch it.
She's almost 80 years old, and she's performing dressed as a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader at the Dallas Cowboy Thanksgiving game and looking like she fit the part at almost 80 years old.
Wow. Well, that's impressive.
National treasure.
Well, okay, that's impressive. But I guarantee you when R-Truth is 80 years old, he's going to get out there and he's going to be dressed like a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader singing the national anthem at halftime at the Super Bowl. So,
all right.
R-Truth is going to do it. Don't let me down, dude.
He does it all.
He does it all. I'm telling you.
He's already laid it out.
He's a one-man stimulus package. Okay. No, but seriously, I love me some R-Truth. I wish he was on TV more. I really do. I'd love to see him in the ring a lot more than he is. And speaking of people who can predict the future, I should have stuck to my guns. I remember on our first episode of ABW, I said that Judgment Day was going to cash in their Money in the Bank briefcase during the War Games match. And I turned out to be right. They weren't successful, and I didn't think they were going to be successful, but they did attempt to cash that in. And And I think it would have been
I'm unsure how that would have worked in match.
Well, I mean, as soon as you throw the briefcase in there, now the briefcase is in play. As long as Damian Priest gets the pin on somebody, he becomes the champion.
No, I mean, I don't think the champion. I don't think the champion can lose his belt if someone else gets pinned in a Survivor Series match. I see the way I saw.
So you're saying that he had to have pinned Seth Rollins in order to get that?
I think it would have to have been after the match. Like, I don't know if maybe she was bringing the briefcase down to throw the briefcase in as a weapon, and then if the match went their way, cash it in right then and there when the match was over. But how can you start a new match when one match is not over?
Well, no, she was dragging the ref down to the ring, the whole thing, the whole
I know, but I just don't know the logistics of how do you start a WWE championship match while there's another match going on?
Well, I don't know about that. I couldn't speak to the veracity. I have to check the rule book on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Vinnie Mac's rule book.
I'm pretty sure he couldn't just pin anybody. And
see, that's how I took it,
No, because I mean, what are you going pin Randy Orton and the champion loses his belt? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, if you're in any other standard match, you're in a fatal 5-way or a fatal 4-way or a 6-way, and you don't have to pin the champion to lose, the title in that case.
But this is a Survivor Series match, not a heavy, WWE championship match. That's
Sure. But it still takes one pin on one guy to end the match.
Sure, that's
so true. Maybe I'm looking at this thing too simplistically. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how they would have played it out. Obviously, maybe they played it out the way they did because they couldn't figure that part out.
Yeah.
But obviously, yes. I think you were on the right path, but obviously did not come to fruition.
Yeah, it didn't come to fruition.
Well, and we know the times he can cash that in are limited now because it has to be before, WrestleMania, obviously.
Yeah.
So now we don't have any major events in December, by design, I believe. We have the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
We'll probably have some second tier premium live event prior, leading up to WrestleMania.
Fastlane or something.
But he's gonna they've been telling the story of him wanting to cash this in recently, getting antsy about it, and a couple times they had Rhea slow him down and say, no, tonight's not the night. And then this one, obviously Rhea was the one, pushing it. So
do you think he's going to be the first one to not?
One thing we do is it's going to be soon.
Do you think he's going to be the first one to not cash it in?
Has there been anyone that's lost?
No. Well, there've been people who've lost. John Cena actually lost his Money in the Bank match, famously. I think Alberto Del Rio did at one point too, but they don't want you to know about that. I'm not saying that you lose. I'm saying that time expires. Like WrestleMania comes and goes, and because of some extenuating circumstance, you can't cash it in.
You can't cash it in. You have to cash it in prior to WrestleMania, I believe.
Right. Well, you have to cash it in at WrestleMania, right? But what I'm saying is they don't cash it in. It just expires.
Oh no. Well, there's no reason.
There would be no reason for that, right? But I mean, it's never happened.
I'm wondering if
when does he cash it in? When does he, for real, no kidding, cash it in? When do you think that happens? I'll tell you when I think it happens. You think Royal Rumble?
Okay. I think there's just no way around it at this point. That's the biggest event between now and WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So to me, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Unless what would be obviously I don't think they're going to have Damian Priest win the Royal Rumble, because then that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Win the Royal Rumble, you get an automatic ticket to the main event. But what if you won the Royal Rumble and cashed it in and won the championship that day?
Yeah.
But that wouldn't make a lot of storyline sense either.
Well, I don't know what makes sense. I'm not used to WWE making sense, so I'm still acclimating.
I'll make a prediction for you.
What's that?
My prediction is Damian Priest loses his match when he cashes it in.
Oh, I think he's going to lose it too.
Okay.
So I don't think he's going to win. Oh yeah, I think he's going to be one of the few that don't win his Money in the Bank cash in. I think it's going to be better for it.
It speaks to the further fracturing of the the,
Yeah.
you know, the,
Yeah. I think the first time he wins the big singles title, it's going to be, you know, of his own steam and of his own volition. It won't be because, you know, somebody was helping him. I think that's the way they're setting him up. I could be totally wrong.
I'm cheering for JD McDonough screwing something up to cost him that.
That's probably what's going to happen. That kid. Oh boy. Anyways, we got off on a tangent. We're going to get off on a lot of tangents today, folks. I want to talk a little bit about the big news that came out of Survivor Series. The new World Heavyweight Prediction Champion of the Universe, the Kind Man. And unfortunately, you don't have a championship to show us today because it's still en route. But I was hoping that it would get here sooner than that, but it didn't.
Those slow USPS guys.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. You'll be able to show it off next time. The streak is over. The greatest streak in the history of match prediction is finally over.
Yes.
At 4-0, 4-1. That's what it is. The Kind Man is the one behind 4-1.
Which I think your streak there is the second best streak in the history of professional wrestling. I do give the Undertaker's 22 in a row at WrestleMania a slight tick above your 4 in a row prediction.
Slight,
but I think you're right there.
I think so too. I'm right up there with the Undertaker and R-Truth.
Yes,
but no, we can talk about. Boy, and this is something that I don't think either one of us saw coming a mile away, and that was the return of CM Punk. And the funny thing is, I actually missed it. I sat down and I watched the whole show, and I was staying away. I was trying not to fall asleep. As soon as I saw the logo in the corner, I said, "Yep, that's it. They're done." And I clicked the TV off, and I went upstairs. And as soon as I got into bed, I checked one more time, and I went, "Oh, you got to be shitting me." The whole phone is blowing up. "You got to be shitting me. Guess what? He's back." And I'm like, "Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me." So I had to go and scope that out real quick. But yeah, what an amazing moment. I don't think I've ever heard the Allstate Arena blow up like that before. It was like a sustained roar. It wasn't even like a cheer. It was like a roar.
It was so non-interesting.
What?
Like it was non-interesting in the sense that the match was over, the show was over. He's just standing up there. The crowd's going nuts. Don't get me wrong there. That was like, oh, cool. This is awesome. But there was no involvement. It was just, he's standing there on the thing, and then we fade to black.
Sure.
And they obviously showed a couple of the wrestlers in the ring that didn't seem too happy about this return. And there's some speculation that might actually be genuine.
Sure.
That they genuinely were pissed off. And I did read somewhere that I don't think the people in the ring were clued in that this was happening.
I don't know about that. I think they were. I think all of it was, again, as much of a work as you could probably get it to be. But I think you're probably right. I don't think, Seth Rollins is a huge CM Punk fan, and, I'm sure he didn't have to quote unquote act quite a bit that night. But I totally disagree. I think the moment, and I think, it's all about context, right? If you look at the moment for what it is, it's CM Punk returning to WWE in Chicago. And from what I understand, he didn't really sign his contract until that morning. So it's not like they can have an elaborate plan for him to do something or, anything of the ordinary. But what an incredible moment. I think WWE said it was their most like watch social media event. I don't know what they called it. They called it something weird.
It's just a clip. They had a clip that was viewed like over
25
million times.
Yeah, 25 million times or something.
Yeah,
just insane.
It was great.
Yeah, but I mean, good for them. And I mean, and that is what it is. That's the power of it. Now, if you're going to ask me if I thought that his promo on Monday night measured up to that, I'll tell you, hell no. His promo Monday night didn't measure up to a lick of stick on that. And I know his time was cut short, but I mean, come on. I was I wasn't disappointed, but I was let down. I mean, there's a difference for me between being, I was let down, and being disappointed is further down here. But I was let down by that. I thought, I don't know. I thought a lot more thought could have gone into something like that. He didn't have to mirror his AEW shtick to such a degree. He didn't have to do any of the repetitive stuff. And I know that he probably couldn't speak in volume about what happened at his time in AEW because, I mean, that shit's all over the place and everybody knows what happened anyway. But he's my guy. CM Punk is my guy. He's my favorite wrestler, and I'm always going to be his biggest guy. So, I'm with him. I'm with him on this tournament. I'm with him on this round. And from what I understand, he is probably going to work programs with both Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns at some point. So I don't know. I don't know where that takes us. I don't know where that leads us. But I'm excited to see where it goes, and I hope that it is tons better than what we saw on Monday night.
Well, you are definitely the CM Punk guy. As I've told you, I am not a CM Punk guy. The one thing I like that I've always found fascinating about him is how he pulls off his finisher with that knee to the face and doesn't kill people with it. Because it's if it was like 100% legit, that is one of the most devastating finishers in all of wrestling that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how he makes that look so good without absolutely concussing the fuck out of whoever gets hit.
I'll give you the simple answer. He's the best in the world.
Okay. Well, so I'll give him credit. I'll give him his flowers.
Right. Give him his flowers for that.
For his finishing move.
At GTS. But no, I love Punk. And it's unfortunate that you don't share my love of Punk, but I love the fact that you don't, because you can call me out. You can be like, no. He didn't do this great. He did this. He did that. He did the other.
Well, listen, that's why I've always gone towards the heels, because I always found it like I didn't enjoy it that everyone in the crowd was cheering for Hulk Hogan, that everyone was cheering for John Cena. Like, I never felt that's the way it should be, whether it's sports or sports entertainment. There should be, a lot of people cheering for both sides. So I've always kind of taken a different. Oh, by the way, I watched The Undertaker beating Hogan the other day. I watched that, and the absolute gold of the panning to small children, both during the entrance and after Hogan lost. You have a parent hugging their child as the Undertaker walks past them down the aisle to go in the ring. The kid's crying, and the mother is trying to console them.
Yeah.
And then after the match was over, all the cameras going to these little kids that were with their Hulkamania shirts, bawling their eyes out.
I shouldn't take such delight in this, but yeah. No.
Production gold. Just fine. Yeah, I can just hear the people in the back like, find me some kids crying.
Yeah.
Hey, go to camera 11.
Yeah.
Kids bawling his eyes out.
Yeah. No, they do that. I know they did that most recently. They did that. They still do that to this day. I remember Ms. Girl did it. They showed the Ms. Girl very angry, and the crying Sanjaya fan, for what it's worth. But no, yeah, CM Punk is back, and I can't wait to see where he goes. But I want to shift gears a little bit away from that, and I want to talk a little bit about, I had a challenge for this guy on Discord. I said to him, kind man, I bet you can't show me or tell me who the top 5 female wrestlers that you would like to have a cup of coffee with. I'm going to use air quotes on cup of coffee, but you'd like to have a cup of coffee with that you think are a pretty fine bit of stuff. And this is just for all the current active wrestlers today, right? This isn't all time. This is just for active divas, female wrestlers, whatever you want to call them. So without further ado, I can't wait to hear this list. I want to know who your top 5 are from bottom to top.
Well, okay, yeah. So what I'll tell you is I did not do this from a perspective of maybe wanting to have a cup of coffee. I did it more from interesting, intriguing,
Sure.
influential.
Okay.
Uh, you know, who are the females that, as I'm watching whatever show it be, whether it be
Hmm.
AEW, WWE, NXT, whether it be any of them, who that that really keep me in my seat,
Yeah.
that I'm really gonna stay and watch because I enjoy them as a character, as a wrestler. Um, I didn't go the looks angle because I would have a different list. Um, but I want to start out and give everyone a bonus person. It's going to fall outside the top five, but I just saw her recently for the first couple of times in NXT, and I just want to give this bonus as an up and comer, as someone to keep an eye out because I've seen her only wrestle twice, and I was highly entertained to the point where she almost made this list,
Hmm.
and that's Kalani Jordan.
Oh, okay.
So keep your eye on Kalani Jordan in NXT because I like what I see at the early stages, and I would have a cup of coffee with her too,
Nice.
definitely.
Nice.
So my list, breaking it down from five to one. Five, I'm going to put Asuka.
Mm.
I just believe, brings me back to the old days of the Mist and the,
Yeah.
all that cool stuff. For not barely being able to speak English, I think she's actually entertaining on the microphone.
Yeah.
Um, and I think athletically, I think she is a wonderful wrestler.
I think she's probably one of the best wrestlers in the world,
Yeah,
male or
I,
female.
I think she's great.
Yeah.
So that's, and originally she was a little lower on the list, but I made a few changes. Number four, I'm going to surprise the AB here because I am still kind of at I would call myself at kind of the arm drag and hip toss stage of my AEW development.
Right.
I'm still getting into AEW. I'm not, where other than the past WWE people, I don't know the roster as well as I'm learning every day. But I will tell you my number four, that I love her in her faction and I love her as a champion right now, is Julia Hart.
Oh, yeah. Good.
So
She's really improved.
I love her in the House of Black. I saw her the other day as the TBS champion.
Yeah.
Wrestle. I believe her character is well done. I think she's good in ring.
Yeah.
And I like the tie-in with her faction, and I enjoy the House of Black.
Nice.
So that
No.
was my number four. My number three, we will put in the diva category, but not the wrestling category, is in my influential thing. She's almost become kind of just like a social media phenomenon. Is Samantha Irvin, the ring announcer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so her with her very crazy, intros and voice and
Right.
booming voice. I did some look. I guess she's like a recording artist, and um, she's a very talented lady, and she's become kind of an industry of her own, where she has all these cameras like just on her, like a camera pointed to her,
Hmm.
that are all over social media. Just when she makes an announcement, there'll be like a YouTube video. Here's her announcing, John Cena in his return, and they just show her and the energy and the booming pipes, and how she makes the intro fit the person she's introducing. It's not just some
Yeah.
dude saying a name. It's she actually has personality in the introduction towards the person's character. So I made her number three because I think I've been seeing more and more of her on social media, of just kind of her cottage industry she's created from being a ring announcer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think she's the interesting, influential side of this.
It's pretty impressive.
Number two, Charlotte Flair. Not into blondes, but I can tell you athletically, and is just fits the part of being the best. Like, if you just look at her, if you line up, like they call it in football, they call it the getting off the bus people. Like when they get off the bus, you're like, oh shit. Like, big and just
Yeah.
like imposing. If you lined up every WWE and AEW women and you just said, give me the quintessential champion on the women's side of it, just from a looks and a confidence and a athleticism and a build perspective, Charlotte Flair is number one off the bus.
Number two, you said, or you said number one off the bus. Number one off the bus.
Number one is like walking off the bus, just like
Yeah.
looking the part, looking like she should be WWE Women's Champion.
Right.
And number one,
here it is. Number one,
Chelsea Green. I said in the previous show, she's one of my favorite wrestlers right now, if not my favorite. I believe she does the Valley Girl, like, mean girl, airhead, like a persona so well. I love her type with Piper Niven. I think the contrast of the two, and the fact that they, for Halloween, they're putting stuff on social media of them dressed up as, Piper as Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and and Chelsea Green as the Hitman, and they're having fun with it, and they're taking a larger than life personality and putting it with a brute. But the brute's also picking up on the fun of that.
Sure.
So I think as a tag team, they're a lot of fun, and I think Chelsea Green is very talented. I think she's almost as talented in the ring as she is on the microphone, which is saying a lot. But obviously her persona is more important out of the ring than in the ring, for the entertainment of what her character does.
Yeah. I know Julia Hart has really improved a lot. I don't want to skip back to that, but
yeah,
I mean, you didn't catch the very beginning of AEW at all, but not that she was terrible. She wasn't ever terrible, but yeah, a lot of missed spots, timing issues, things of that nature that are, I mean, all but gone. I don't know if that's because she's been hanging out in the factory or hanging out with Malachi Black and those guys and training with them, but it really, really stepped her game up. I was really impressed with how much she's grown.
And aren't you impressed that I put her on this list?
I am impressed that you put her on that list, to be frank. I didn't expect to see any AEW people on there.
Well, originally I started jotting things down and my mind goes directly to WWE.
Right.
But then I caught her match the other night and it was like, you know what? I've always stopped whenever I saw the House of Black.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched her match actually a couple of times because I just wanted to, because I hadn't seen her. Well, I've seen her a couple of times in singles, but yeah, I was really impressed with her match the other day. So
nice.
I definitely wanted to get some AEW in here because I'm making the commitment to learn more.
Well, Collision is on tonight in case you wanted to catch it. 2 hours, and I believe they're going to continue on with their Continental Classic this evening. It looks like, and I don't know how legit this is. This is just kind of word in the water cooler. We don't break news here. We can talk about some of the ongoings here a little bit, but it says Bryan Danielson is probably going to wrestle with an eye patch or some kind of face mask. And he's got 2 breaks in his orbital socket. Is that wise? Is that the smart move to do? I don't know.
Well, better be, because I don't want him to take a pie to the face if he loses.
No, I don't either.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, that's right. That's right. You do. That's right. So yeah, pie away. No,
yeah.
Even if he does lose a match, that doesn't mean he's going to lose the tournament.
No. But I have him as the winner, and if he does take some shots to broken orbital bones, they might have to let get him out.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, do you know, and I don't mean to cut Bryan Danielson's orbital bone injury short because it is a serious injury, but I didn't do a top 5 list probably of my own, but I did think about who my number 1 would be, and I did want to share that, which I didn't think about that till after the fact. But and I'll tell you, as much as I'm a fan of wrestling, I think she is probably the best female wrestler that I've seen ever, and that's Willow Nightingale. There's something about the way her presentation, right? She's happy, she's bouncy and bubbly. I love that she comes out and she's not dour or mean or trying to be angry like everybody else. She's happy, you know. It's almost like Bailey syndrome, you know, where Bailey was the happy hugger, you know. And Willow Nightingale kind of falls into that same-ish category. The difference is, you know, I think Willow Nightingale has shown in her past a mean streak if she needs it, if she has to pull from it. That's not necessarily who she is, but she'll do it. And plus, I mean, as you say, I would have a cup of coffee with her. So yeah, that I can only think of like one. If there was a runner-up, it would probably be like Sasha Banks or somebody. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly who. I'd have to go back and look to see who I thought was most influential and most maybe one of the hardest working wrestlers I'd tell you Britt Baker would be up that list too. She'd be pretty high up on that list.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to the dentist.
Yeah, the doctor will see you now. That's one of the greatest wrestling gimmicks of all time, as a wrestling dentist. I mean, Isaac Yankem was great, right? But he wasn't a real dentist.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyways, I guess I don't know if there's anything else that we necessarily need to cover or talk about today. Is there anything else you want to talk about, bud?
No, I think we're good. You know, I mean, obviously, the R-Truth news leads the show. We did some Ladies of Wrestling. We did some Continental Classic. I want to say one thing about AEW.
Oh, sure.
That I am really enjoying. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the trios division.
Oh yeah.
So that is something you don't get in WWE that I really enjoy. I really enjoy the 3-on-3 tag team. And obviously you get those matches in WWE, but you don't have a division. You don't have a champion for that. That's more like a tag team and the other 3 guys pissed off, get together for a match. This is, you know, having a trios belt and having, you know, that I enjoy that division very much in AEW.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. You know, back in my day, I say that's like an old man. Back in my day, trios matches were called six-man tags.
Yeah.
6-man matches, whatever the case may be. And I still have this visage in my head. I can't remember when it happened, or I think it was a Clash of Champions I was watching as a kid, but there was like this 6-man tag team championship match with Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors versus the Russians, the Koloffs and Crusher Khrushchev, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember Dusty Rhodes' plane was late. He was late getting to the arena. So it was just the Road Warriors standing in the ring with the Russians across from the ring for about 20 or 30 minutes. And the whole time we're all waiting like this. And the announcers are going, well, he'll be here any minute. We got word that he's back in now and his car is just pulling up. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, but then again, that's what 6-man tag has always been. It's been a tag team.
Yeah.
The partner of their choosing because they're up against three other guys.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, you have teams. You have teams that's their specialty.
Yeah.
Is the
House of Black.
Division, and there's a championship for it.
Yeah. House of Black and yeah. I don't know if that'll work with Best Friends, but yeah. I suppose it could if you had, you know, Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, but you know, either way. Anyways, as you can see, the kitty cat is on my lap, and I'm going to take that cue to sign off. And I want to thank all of you for sticking around. Yes, you fucking awesome. And thanks for supporting us. Please like, share, and subscribe because it helps us grow. And you should always share things with other people, especially things you like. It's fun. For the kind man, for the old school AB, this is me saying so long, everybody.
Have a nice day.